welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Aquarius, Sun, Moon and Ascendant. If you don't know what your moon or rising signs are, you know the deal. There's a link in the description box that will take you to a site that will help you get your natal chart for free. And then you should come back and watch the videos for your moon and ascendant signs, because they'll give you a better idea of what's going on with you overall, rather than you'll get from just your sun sign. Sometimes you resonate with that more than you do with your sun sign, so it's worth bearing in mind. Speaking of the description box, there is a ton of information down there, and go and have a look, because it might well answer any questions that you have. I've put down there the decks that I use for every reading. What else is in there? My social media links. I'm on Facebook and Instagram, and I have recently reinstated my Twitter, which was from a previous incarnation when I was all a legal person and stuff. So I've had to kick off from my followers list lots of QCs and professors and inns of court and stuff like that, and it's looking a bit sparse now. So if you want to come and hang out with me over there, by all means do so. If you would like to donate to the channel, the link is down there for PayPal for one-off donations. If you would like to support in a more regular fashion, I have now set up my Patreon, finally. Procrastinated long enough about that. That too is a little bit sparse, but I will be updating it as and when I get more familiar with the platform and, you know, when I manage my time better. What else do I need to tell you? There will be an extended to this. The link to that will be in the description box. And I'm trialling this month something new that I've wanted to do for ages and I only just got around to, which is shadow readings for the collective. I think that we are born with a collective shadow, and even if that just dictates how it is that we approach the challenges and obstacles that, you know, present in our life, you know, it's still worth looking at, and I don't think any shadow work is wasted. So, you know, if you want to have a look at that, I'd be deeply grateful. And give me some feedback on it. Tell me if this is something that you would like to see more of, because, you know, I'll put the work into it if it is. I think that's everything. Oh, I'm doing a live stream on Saturday, so if you want to come and say hello, do that. I'll not be reading cards, it's more like just a check-in, but yeah. It would be nice to talk to you all again. So I'll put a post on the community tab. It probably should be up already, actually, to be fair. So if you've got any questions that you want me to pay attention to and answer, stick them on there, and I'll do my best to get through them. Right, that's quite enough waffling from me. So Aquarius. 3 cards for Aquarius, please. Ooh, there's the first one. 6 of Cups. Interesting. It's my card of the past, and we are currently experiencing a retrograde. This Radiant Reality calls it retrogradia, because there's 4 planets in retrograde at the moment, and in June Mercury will go retrograde as well. So forewarned is forearmed and all that. 2 more cards for Aquarius. There's one. We've got the 9 of Wands in your current energy, and then it's coming towards Aquarius. Coming towards Aquarius. No, that's too many. So, 8 cards there. No, not having that. Let's shuffle them back in. Right. 1 more card for what's coming towards Aquarius. Thank you. We have got the 7 of Blades, which is 7 of Swords in a standard deck. At the bottom here, we've got the 5 of Blades, 5 of Swords. That's interesting energy. Let's have a look, see. Ooh. Yeah, triple goddess. Right. Let's get some clarifiers for this and then get on with it. So, where's the 6 of Cups here? Interesting. What the fuck? Aquarius, you have a lot to say today, apparently. Right. We've got the 5 of Cups. That one bounced off my nose, did you see that? And we've got the Emperor. That's interesting. The Emperor's been making quite a few appearances today across the decks. Right. Where's the 9 of Wands here for Aquarius, please? Fucking hell. Right. We've got the 9 of Pentacles and the 10 of Pentacles. It's 5 of Cups, 6 of Cups, 9 of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles. Interesting. Right. So that's the 7 of Swords. Thank you. We've got the Empress. Ooh. And 3 of Wands. Things are looking good. At the bottom of the deck, we've got Justice. And this is interesting. this too has been showing its face quite a bit today. It's the card of Libra in the Major Arcana. And it is, in fact, apart from the Emperor, the only... Oh, Emperor and the Empress, actually. I was going to say it was the only Major Arcana, but that was palpably false. Bear with me, it's been a long day. So, pop one of these. I don't even know why that's on the table. Right, the first card that you've got is the Six of Cups, and this, for me, is the card of the past. And it can sometimes be childhood, it can sometimes just denote the past. And the reason I brought it up is because of the retrograde season. Yeah, that's why I brought the retrogrades up, really. It's about looking back. And sometimes it could be past life things. So here, in your recent past, you have a card of the past. And we are in retrograde season. And this has an hourglass which has been put down on its side. Yeah. It's almost like time has been suspended in some way, right? While you were checking things out. Maybe this is talking to the retrograde. Right? Maybe this is what you've been looking at during the retrograde. The lockdown is what I meant to say. Maybe this is what you've been considering while the lockdown has been going on, right? Kind of rolling the past over. It's interesting that there's a gypsy fortune teller, I guess. It's almost like you've spent some time reflecting on what it was that you thought was coming up for you, if that makes sense. Right? Kind of going backwards to look at what you thought, where you thought you would be right here, right now, a little while ago. Two cups. Fuck my life, I couldn't speak today. Two cards that you've got to clarify, the Five of Cups and the Emperor. This Emperor, I'm not a big fan of the Emperor anyway, but this one looks pretty mean. Right? It's in the Triple Goddess deck and it's literally the only male card. All of the kings, in fact, and all of the traditionally male archetypes are women, apart from the Emperor. It's the card of Aries. And he looks stern. In fact, both of these cards actually, there's a similarity in the colouring of both of these cards that I cannot help but notice. The Five of Cups talks about loss, it talks about regret. It can talk about grieving and mourning, actually. Some tarot readers call it the crying over spilt milk card, and I'm not one to talk shit about other tarot readers, but that really gets my goat because I think it undermines the profundity of the experience right here. Right? That's not crying over spilt milk. That's grief and loss. It can sometimes talk about resentment. Or guilt. Right? I'm just going to throw these up here. This fucking card's slipping everywhere. And this Emperor, as he's sat here on the table, is pointing very, because the cards are not quite straight, he's pointing directly at the Three Cups that are spilled, right? It's almost like you feel like you've been forced to look over old things in a way that you probably wouldn't necessarily have wanted to. Maybe because the Emperor is the father archetype, it has been, a patriarch in your family that's kind of pushed you towards it. Maybe it's a boss. Let's get some more cards. Tell me about this Five of Cups. Why is this here? Aquarius. Ace of Wands. And the Chariot in reverse. Why is the Emperor here? We've got the Lovers and the King of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, we've got the Five of Cups. Right, you've been looking back, right? And I don't know if you've necessarily been looking back in a way that is holding on to some sort of emotional, loss that you've suffered and re-feeling it. Like, it doesn't feel necessarily like you've been kind of stuck in a dark place. It's more like there's been events going on, and maybe it's just the lockdown, maybe it's the the retrograde energy, all that sort of thing, where you realise that you are limited in some way, and you've been pointed towards this as a situation that you haven't fully kind of released and let go. Right? The two clarifiers for the Five of Cups were the Ace of Wands and the Chariot in reverse. Now this is really interesting because the Ace of Wands is this like spark of creativity. It's kind of new idea. It's a new start, right? It's a new project of some description. But when it comes up with the Chariot in reverse, it talks about a complete halt being called to this. It's almost like you had plans, exciting plans, and someone or something, you know, this could have been an agent, you know, of the universe, a patriarchal figure in your existence somewhere, has kind of gone, what about all of this? Or this is more of a kind of energetic thing where you feel like you've been kind of almost ordered to look back at this, right? And consider it for what it is. Because there's something limited in your space at the moment. Now, when I clarified the Emperor, what I got was the Lovers, which for me is a card of very conscious life choice that will change your direction in some way. And the King of Pentacles. Now, the King of Pentacles is equally capable of being this patriarchal figure. Could be an earth sign, so we're talking Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus. But it's someone who's kind of got the shit together materially, right? It might even be you, Aquarius. That's possible. But it can also be a business owner. So it could be your boss, or it could be you being in charge of your, you know, material assets, what you are going forwards. I notice that the king is looking away from here, right? We take it as it resonates to you, but it feels like he doesn't kind of want to look at that. In fact, the angel in the Lovers has got its eyes closed as well. It's almost like you can't move forwards with this new thing, whatever it is, until you look back. You make that conscious decision to look back and process all of this stuff. It's fascinating. In your current energy, you've got the Nine of Wands, and this for me is very much a card of boundaries. Like this particular card came up for Scorpio in different circumstances. It's really interesting. Like I've had this tarot deck for a few years now, and because of who gifted it to me, I haven't actually touched it. And then all of a sudden this week it just wanted to come out, and so I've let it out, and it's fascinating. Actually, I kind of wish I'd started using it earlier. But the Nine of Wands for me is a card of boundaries, more often than not. But in this particular depiction, right, we've got one woman who's she's got a hand outstretched, like to help a man across this bridge. The bridge is over a burning pit, and he's kind of looking at it, and he's like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that's safe. Like that bridge is going to collapse. You're not really strong enough. I just And it's clarified by the Nine of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles, which is interesting because it's consecutive cards again, and we've had one of those already. And the Nine of Pentacles talks about the self, right? Just as the Nine of Wands talks about the self. I find those very, very internal, individual cards. Right? It's about setting your own boundaries, in the case of the Nine of Wands, or setting, being able to take care of your own needs and your own resources, as in the Nine of Pentacles. Right? They're both very independent cards, except that Nine of Wands doesn't look very independent to me. The Ten of Pentacles is commitment and stability and security, Again, in your material realm, the things that are around you. You can see it talking about business, and I'm getting a lot of work vibes off this reading here, taking care of you and yours. Tell me more about this. What is the Death card? Oh, this is interesting. And the Seven of Cups. Right. It feels like, rather than this being a boundaries card, this is a card of really needing to take a risk, right? A big fucking risk. And I'm not entirely sure that you're ready to do it. But at the same time, in your current environment, I don't think you can survive not taking the risk, is the thing. Right? The fire is all encircling, yes, but are you just going to sit there forever kind of staring at it? You've got a hand being offered to you over here. You've got a route over, and yes, it's rickety. It is a risk. But ultimately, if you do nothing, you're probably going to burn to death, actually, is the thing. There's a really great sense of there being a number of options available to you, but you need to release in a big way what has come before to allow this stuff in. And this is risky, right? It is risky, but ultimately it feels like it's going to pay off. Yeah, okay. We've got the Magician, right? Death and the Magician. Right? Whatever this risk is, and if it's related to your material circumstances, right? So this could be work, and I feel very strongly that there's a work component to this here. But it could be a family, you know, like whatever it is in your life that's taken not only a long time to set up, right? A lot of investment of time and effort and resources. That means a lot to you, you know? Something that you started by yourself, but ultimately have brought other people in on board with, right? So it could be a family, right? Totally. But it feels worky, definitely, right? You need to take a massive fucking risk, but it's going to pay off, right? Because you've got the Magician here. Like everything that you need is actually in your grasp at the moment. But the only thing that's missing is you being prepared to run across that bridge and grab the hand of the maiden who is looking to help you here, right? We've got the Page of Swords, and he's looking back at the Magician. It's almost like intellectually you appreciate that this is a risk that might pay off, but there's something that's just holding you back a little bit, and it seems to be related to this previous loss. Now, I equated that to an emotional loss of some description, and I feel like there's an emotional component to it, but if this is a work reading, then it could well be that you took a chance once and it failed, right? And now it's like once bitten, twice shy kind of thing. But the fact is, you've stalled, right? And you've stalled because you're being called to take this risk, to go somewhere with it, right? I mean, the other way of looking at it is potentially that you are the maiden on the other side of the bridge, and what you're trying to do is get people to come along with you because you've got this massive, it requires them to take a risk to come to you, but ultimately you will keep them safe because there's fucking nothing to burn out there. Like, look, it's a barren landscape, right? You can do whatever you want out there without fear of the fire catching up with you. There's just stony ground, you know, but there is a clear path out. Take it as it resonates to you. Now, what's coming towards you for June is the Seven of Swords. Now, this is a card of risk-taking, right? This is how I interpret this card ever. Like, some people call it deception and all that kind of thing. And when it came out for, I think it was Scorpio, actually, interestingly, before, it was more about developing a persona, right? That was quite different from what was actually going on within, right? I don't see that for you here. I see no sense of deception here, but I do see a sense of, you know, risk-taking, getting out there, getting your face seen, right? And it's clarified by these two most fucking wonderful clarifiers here, the Empress and the Three of Wands. If you are looking to take a risk, right, if you need to get your face out there, right, and to be seen by people, then these are two cards that you absolutely want, like, backing you up, because the Empress, as you can see, she is pregnant there, right? She's ready to birth new things into the world, and this is the energy that is coming in for you in June, right? Whatever new thing you're trying to bring into the world, it's looking really good. And not only that, we've got expansion because we've got the Three of Wands here. Now, it could be that you're being required to travel in some way, and in the way the world's locked down at the moment, that seems unlikely, but I'm going to throw it in there anyway. But for me, Three of Wands is an expansive energy, right? You've skipped straight from the idea and all the logistics and the planning and stuff that comes in the two. You've gone straight from the Ace of Wands, skip the two, and you're right out here, which makes me feel like this is already fairly well thought out, you know? There's a calculated risk here, but you know it's going to pay off. You really do know it's going to pay off. The cards seem to agree with you. Oh. You've got the Wheel of Fortune, right? There's a lesson in here for you. Or for this other person that you're trying to convince, I don't know, but there's a lesson in here about the value of risk taking. Now, Aquarius, we've had this chat before, where when you look down, right, that's you undermining your own energy. And if this is you, this is what you're doing at the moment, right? I told you in previous readings, I recall, don't look at your feet, look at the horizon, because Aquarians have got that vision, right? Right over there, right? They see the way that things are going, right? They envisage the new world, right? At this point, if this is you, you're looking down at your feet, and that's the wrong place to look, because you cannot see the benefits of being able to go and stand on that hill over there, away from this fucking inferno, right? That's what will give you the bravery to leap, right? Right. Judgment as well, like Judgment tried to come out before as well. Right. Your judgment in this matter is absolutely bang on. It's astute, right? And you need to trust that. If you are the person who is trying to convince somebody else to come over to your side of doing things, if it is you, right, there's a sense of kind of trusting somebody else's judgment on this one, because you're too busy looking at your feet to notice what is out over there. Aquarius, look up, right? I might call this video Aquarius, look up. Let's see. Right, give me one more before this. I asked for one. I got two. At the bottom of the deck, we've got the Seven of Swords again, right? Risk taking. But here, I asked for one more card, I got two. I got the King of Wands and I got the Star, which is your card, Aquarius. There's the Star, it's up there. Look up, right? Follow your gut, trust your instincts on things, right? And if you are struggling, right? We've got this King of Wands here, right? Highly entrepreneurial spirit, but he is spontaneous, right? He's dynamic and he's confident and he's all of these kind of wonderful things, but he's not static. This king moves, and you are currently not moving, right? Get yourself up off your chair and go chase your star, right? Go do it. Oh, I'm really excited for you, Aquarius. This is mint. It's really mint. Ooh, put that there. Yeah. Whatever this is, it's kind of big. You've got so much major arcana to back it up. Almost to the point where it isn't really a risk, actually, from what I can see here. Not that that helps you when you're kind of looking at it, I think. But, I can see it flipping one way or the other. It either being you or you trying to, convince somebody else. If you're trying to convince somebody else, then all this is validation that you are correct, right? If it's someone else trying to convince you, then look into it a little bit more, right? Look back to see what it is that failed before. Yeah, the thing that has stopped you moving, the thing that's taken away your feeling that taking a risk is a good thing to do. And look at it objectively. Is it a real thing? Is it a real fear? Or is it just a fear of failure? Because I don't see failure here for you, not at all. Right, I'm going to leave it here for you. If you want to join me for the extended, the link will be in the description box. But if this is where we part ways, that's all cool. No shade. And I'll see you soon.